Hello, everyone. It is Rory here at that Eurovision site, Eurovision with a slice of life. And in this video, I am joined by the lovely Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Lovely, lovely. Well, as you can see from the title of this video, we are going to be checking out Portugal's selection for Eurovision 2025 Festival da Canção. We are all over and done with, and we now know that Napa will be representing Portugal with their song Deslocado. And yeah, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk all about the national selection. So let's just get straight into it. So, yeah, I mean, okay, I think we should probably preface this by saying that we are pretty much the two resident Festival da Canção yappers. So
Yeah.
apologies in advance if this is going to be quite a long one. But as we've seen, as we talked about in the pre-discussion for the selection, we were big fans of this show. How did the show live up to your expectations then overall?
There was just the right amount of Festival da Canção in the production, the song quality, the what on earth is going on with some of these results that it's what you come to expect from Festival da Canção, so I can't say I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, like the whole year, every single year, Festival de Canção always manages a way to, reinvent itself based on the graphics, on the staging and that, but there's still some very quintessential Portuguese things,
Yeah.
two different hosts for the semi-finals and then obviously Filomena and Vasco for the final. Quality of the songs was really fantastic. The showcasing of Portuguese music in the interval acts was fantastic as well. And yeah, you're definitely right. Some very strange results for when it came to down to things. Um, I was lucky enough that I was able to go to Festival de Canção for a second year, so that was lovely. Thank you very much to RTP for allowing us to go. Muito obrigado. But I have to say, I mean, I don't think anyone really saw this result coming, to be honest. Maybe you might
I
have though,
I, I
because
kind of did.
you were very, very vocal in the Discord server about how this was going to go.
I mean, I think if you say that if you want like, at least open to the possibility that Napa were going to win, maybe you weren't paying enough attention because they were outstreaming everyone in the run-up to Festival de Canção by a metric of over 5 times. This
Hmm.
was always going to be popular with the televote. They basically started at 12 on the juries because Madeira are not going to vote for anything else. This was always going to be a very real possibility. What shocked me is how all the other votes went down. Like I'm not surprised they won. I am very surprised they won on 17 points.
Yeah. I mean, like how you said, the jury votes were so scattered. Like, I think the one who technically got the most 12 points was Peculiar, and they
Yeah,
were
he's
like
the
the
only one
only
who got
points that
two.
he got. Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of a bit scattergun in that kind of way. I think
Yeah.
it seemed really strange that, one act was getting one and then another one completely on the other side was getting one and everything. And then obviously the televote points being completely different to what the jury was thinking. It really showed that like there was no one clear winner this time around.
Yeah.
But it's
I
interesting.
think that's just part of Festival de Canção that the juries are kind of weird sometimes,
Hmm.
especially in that the juries in semi-final and final are very different because we got some
Yeah.
people not doing very well at all. Fernando Daniel in the semi-final jury doing relatively well in the final, even still not as nearly as well as a lot of people thought.
I mean, also for the fact that Margarita Campello and Marco Rodriguez absolutely stormed their way to qualifying for the final, despite being
Yeah. I remember like, yeah, she's not gonna qualify. She's a no hoper, and then she goes and wins the semi.
I want to know what the hell happened there because
Portugal,
crazy.
just Portugal.
Portugal being
They're
Portugal,
just
isn't it?
they're just a
Yeah.
bit strange sometimes, but we
Yeah.
love them
But
for that.
well, as we can see. I mean, but even then, even in the final, for example, the 12 points going to Henka and she got zero jury points, that in itself is just like a
But it's
crazy
it's not surprising to me,
parity.
really.
I mean, there was a, I mean, based on the fact that she was
I
tanked.
maybe expected to get like 2 or 3 jury points tops.
Mhm.
Zero,
I think,
televote 12, televote 12 a little surprising. I
mm,
was but she was always going to be up there, but 12 is a bit of a shock still.
yeah. I mean, in itself, the fact that she was tanked in the jury by this in the semi-final. So that in itself, like, because she would have qualified purely based on televote in the first round if that was the case. And then in the second round in the semi-final, she won with 53% of the vote. So I think it was
Yeah.
fairly obvious that people wanted her there. Um, and
If
that,
she won televote in the semi, she'd have gone through it anyway.
well,
So
that's it. And speaking of very tight televote margins, can we talk for a second a little bit about
uh,
poor Diana Villarino? She was 0.07% away from winning Festival da Canção and representing Portugal. That's
that
crazy.
is about 60 votes, I think.
That's crazy. Like I I don't think it's ever really come down to being that close before.
I I don't think I've seen a single national final get that close.
Yeah. And I
It's
mean,
mad.
I mean, it was kind of nice though to see that because again, Diana was seen as a bit of an outsider going into the festival, and now then she managed to do really quite well.
I
Angus was absolutely thrilled when the results were
I
coming in.
I think it was a case of when I saw that performance, I knew pot- she was at least going to potentially get very high up in the juries. I'm very happy for her that she won, and I'm very happy for the open call format that she won
Hmm.
the juries and very almost won the whole thing.
I mean, if anything, this
Because
just goes to show that the open
because
submissions is still proving
yes,
that it's worth.
second, fourth, and fifth all open submission.
I mean, if this is not a sign
Doing
that
great.
Festival de Canção needs to keep this open submission going, it's perfect. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We love Portugal. As well, you probably will be able to figure this out, viewer, already. I mean, come on, you've got the two Portugal stands on one thing. But yeah, let's talk about Deslocado then. I mean, the show was quite nice. It was very colorful and it was very intimate and things like that. I mean, what did you think of the stage show? Do you think that like it stood out well compared to the other contestants?
I think it's the kind of show where everything kind of stands out in its own way in a bit. I don't think the staging was anything to write home about. I'm hoping it gets changed up a lot, or at least a decent amount for Eurovision, because it was kind of just get the guys on a stage and put some LEDs behind them, which you can tell that they are a good band. They have a really good stage presence, but I feel like they'll need more than that at Eurovision.
Hmm. Yeah.
I,
I
I
Go on.
think if you send this package as it is right now, it might struggle.
Hmm. I mean, I think that is in itself quite a good starting point for them to kind of build something on to then go and really kind of elevate the song because there is a nice like a quaintness to it. I think is the right way of
Yeah.
saying it. There is a delicacy to it, and a lot of people don't. really respect that at the minute because as we've seen from general sort of fan responses, it's not been as positive as say, Mimi Cat as Yolanda as Maro, um, but there is a good potential to build up from here.
Yeah.
I do share the same kind of nervousness about how they'll stage it because at the minute it is just, hello, this is us, we are playing our instruments, and it's just very static. So there needs to be a little bit more of a dynamic there once they get to this.
I will say if there's anyone I trust to stage it, Portugal.
Yeah. I mean, look at how
Maybe
they
maybe Czechia as well, but Portugal.
hmm I mean, look, for example, like look at how they started with Maro. I mean, it was just five people just sat on chairs and that, and then you get to
It
Turin
it
and it's
it,
so
it
much more
started with just
intimate.
her sat on a chair in the semi.
Yeah. Well, she was even just stood up. She just didn't even do anything. And she just did a little bit of clapping and that was it. And then when you got to Turin, you could see the evolution of the performances. And, you know, with a really good ear to what the artist wants and how to create and mimic that kind of intimacy, I think Portugal could actually do quite well. I think people are sleeping on this in the same way
Yeah.
that they had been for a number of other Portuguese songs. Um,
People always underestimate Portugal. I remember the Mimi Cat NQ allegations. I remember the Yolanda NQ allegations.
mhm. And then now look at
But,
where they are.
but
They're
both
like
pulled it off.
cemented as finalists. So yeah, I mean, okay, let's pin our nails to the mast then, our colors to the mast. Where do you think this will do in Basel?
I'm gonna say like the typical Portugal like ninth or tenth in the semi, and then it really depends on who else gets through, I think. Because I could see quite a few juries going for this, and people who are not in Portugal's semi-final, Luxembourg, going for this.
Hmm.
Because I know it's going big in Luxembourg because Portugal, obviously.
And because of Portugal, yes.
I I think Kitten said on the motor thing, we're saying this a lot this year, but mid-table in the final, maybe,
Mm,
helped by a pretty decent jury score.
yeah. I could see that, to be fair. I think it'll be a similar situation. I think, people will gravitate towards these kind of quieter songs. I was talking with Tim about this on the Slovenia video. We have so many big hitters in the first semi-final, and there's only a couple of sort of ballads in that. And out of the ballads that we have, Portugal is a lot stronger than Slovenia is. So I think
Yeah.
Portugal would have a lot higher of a chance to qualify. And then once you're actually in the final, then obviously the jury tends to favor Portugal more than the televote. So I still could see. I don't think it's going to break top 10. It's definitely not going to do
No.
that. I think I could see it maybe being towards the lower half of the table. I'm maybe even like 17th to 20th or something like that. But to be honest, for Portugal, the fact that they've made five consecutive finals in a row, that would be fantastic. It's never happened before. Um, but I think even just to get there is already an achievement of itself. It's a bit like Raven last year because Raven was pretty much like told, yeah, you're not going to qualify. And then she managed to make it in. And yeah, she only finished what, like 22nd or something like that. But like the fact that she managed to sort of bring down the haters, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term, then that could happen.
I also think it depends a lot on what they do in regards to getting the message of the song across.
Hmm.
Whether that's something they want to say, oh, it's about this. Think about this. Because
Mm.
there are ways they could do that. It's a question of do they want to do that? Because it would probably involve like subtitles or something. I can see them not wanting to do that because Portuguese,
Yeah.
that they've made a conscious decision to sing in Portuguese. They want the Portuguese message to speak for itself.
Mm. I think I think again, this all kind of harks back to the idea of staging and how well they'll be able to execute it. I think they will have the ability to do it. It's just a case of we need to have more movement on stage. We need to have more color, and we need to have just a bit more of the intimacy. It was nice what we had in Festival da Canção, but there's only so much you can do within that really small studio. So now that they have a lot wider of an option, like of an arena, of a stage to really transmit that kind of message, I think this can only be a good thing for them. But I don't want it to be where it's just they're all just stood there playing their instruments, because it needs to be, even if it's a slower song, there still needs to be some level of a flow of movement and stuff like that. So I'm sure they'll have some good ideas on what to do. And I can't wait to see what they're going to bring. I mean, they're already doing pre-parties. We've seen them being confirmed now at the time of recording for Eurovision and concerts. So, which, to be honest, for Portugal is
Um,
crazy because
I
most of the time they don't really do
I think
pre-parties.
maybe is it which one in Spain didn't get cancelled? I think they're at that one too.
Madrid, I think. Maybe
That
they're
one.
at Madrid. I haven't seen that one yet.
I saw something.
Hmm. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I mean, the fact that they're even being involved in this level, I think, is fantastic. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and just I guess maybe like looking ahead then to next year, what do you think that Portugal should do with Festival da Canção for next year?
Uh, Firstly, I think the final juries expand them because I think we at this site know more than anyone. It only takes one person to really ruin a jury ranking.
Very true.
So if like two people have something like first and then someone like really just tanks it, it's not going to do particularly well, even though most people on that jury like the song.
Hmm.
So get more people in and get them from more different musical backgrounds and invite more people from different musical backgrounds because the last two televote winners were alternative artists. So there's clearly a demand there for something different to the tradi the traditional Festival da Canção typecast artist of more traditional Portuguese music.
Hmm. I
Don't
think.
you don't need to go overboard with it. Just maybe like one or two a year, but there is clearly demand for them.
Hmm.
And I I'd also maybe give one more hot spot to a open call and maybe another to a secret third thing like they used to.
What, just pull a bit of a San Marino and just get like a big artist and just like fling them
Not
in?
like a big artist, but they've done like in the past like Salvador Sobral's choice or masterclass winner, something like that. Just build up the hype in some way. That would be fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I think for the most part, I think what they have is really good. And like how you said, in terms for different genres, we've seen quite a lot of different genres represented in the last couple of different editions of Festival de Cancel. Um, and they really are leaning into this kind of alternative kind of style, and more people are starting to lean into that as well. So I think maybe it was a little bit of a shock to have, like, after Salvador winning, and then especially sort of 2019 kind of time, we had a lot of experimental kind of music and that kind of thing, and maybe it shocked quite a lot of people. Now that it's becoming a lot more present and it's becoming a lot more accepted, I think, especially within Festival de Canção, in the same way that, we're not just getting the typical kind of Festival de Canção, maybe fado ballad kind of thing. Of course, we did have that this year, but um, it's not so reliant on that. So yeah, I think more representation of different genres, different people. I mean, we had artists from Brazil this time around. We had artists from Madeira, as well, and even in the last couple of years, we've had artists from Mozambique, we've seen them from Angola, like it's obvious that there are people from the Lusophone nations that want to take part in this. So keep the door open, see what goes on, and just you use that to your advantage. So why not? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And unless you have any other sort of final comments on Festival da Canção this year.
Not massively. I would like to say Henka, I owe you a big apology because
Wow.
the song is still not for me. I kind of get it though. I kind of get why it wasn't for me in the first place. I Want to Destroy You is a Eurovision song that just by by Henka being Portuguese kind of had to go through Festival da Canção. I don't think it's not a song that was written for Festival da Canção, like most songs in Festival da Canção were. It is clear that she wants to go to Eurovision.
Hmm.
I say we let her get her in San Marino. She
Well,
she is the type of artist who I think would do well for San Marino, in that she is actually competent, actually cares about going to the contest, and is again actually competent, is a genuine musician and not like some egoistic teenager. She
we have
she
about
could.
Bessa here.
I'm on about the just tons of very untalented people who show up in the auditions every
Hmm.
year because they think they're going to be the next star, and they never are. But she could be. Like she got a lot of eyes on Festival de Canção that would not be on there usually by just providing something completely different and out of the box. Sure, I kind of hated that they were only cheering on Henke and not really engaging with any of the other artists, but she 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 got people watching Festival de Canção.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll start liking Cotovia along the way. That would be great.
I
Maybe
think
they'll come
so.
back next. Maybe they'll come back next year. Maybe they won't.
I mean, there is always a possibility. We have started seeing a bit more rock at Eurovision, at Festival da Canção, should I say? So, this is a new opportunity for them
I
to
I
lend.
I think what RTP could do is just go up to them and say, "Do you have any mates who'd want to do Festival de Canção? Or who are people in the Portuguese scene that you like who might want to do it?"
Hmm.
I'm sure if they asked like Yao Bosch, that they would help as well. Look, great to see Yao Bosch again, by the way.
I know, yeah, like them, Maria Joao, Henk, and Hookah as well. I love that.
A bit of a fever dream, but good.
I loved it. I think I never laughed as much as I did until I saw Maria Joao doing a cover of The Code. Like, I never thought I would be alive to see something like this, and yet here we are. Like,
I always love their interval of doing their spin on the Eurovision winner because you never expect what's coming.
hmm. And that just
Like you
says it
could
all.
you could have given me a billion guesses, and Maria Joao X Bosch the code would not have been that guess. But it's simultaneously the most Portuguese thing possible.
It's so good. I love it. Yeah. All honestly, yeah, the art, the
I'm thinking ahead of who could win and who would do it. I'm thinking a Henke X Josh version of Mamon by Luan. That would be great.
that could do quite well. Yeah.
Diana Villarino Barbados to anyone?
Oh my God. Or a Henka version of like how much time do we have left? I mean, that's incredibly unlikely, but you never know.
I'd watch that.
Oh God. Well, for me, I would just also give a very quick shout out as well to, considering as Daniel didn't do it, Capital de Bulgaria. I think that was,
How did I forget that?
how could you forget that? I mean, the fact that the collective shock when she didn't qualify, I think is crazy. And it was such a beautiful performance, and I really hope that she comes back because that was such a beautiful and timeless performance.
I
Um, yeah.
that semi-final result chart is just so messy in that there are 3 points separating first and eighth.
I mean, if anything, that goes to show how unpredictable it was. But I have to say,
That Treat states are almost NQ'd.
Crazy when it was such a
The
fan
the
favorite as well.
the one people were saying was going to win Eurovision based on that performance.
Yeah. Although I will say, and it'll be incredibly hilarious that we obviously were watching the show as it was happening, and then we watched as the results came in, and poor Daniel was just not happy at all with the result. And then Shiloh came in saying, "How was everything?" And then just Daniel hits out, just being, "Don't even ask. Go and do another hobby, please." Oh, Sophia,
But
please come back. We love you. It's fantastic.
the thing is, I don't think Festival da Canção really have a pathway for coming back, which is kind of something I'd like to see maybe changed a bit.
Hmm.
Maybe
I mean,
that can be
Claudia
the
Pasquale
seat.
came back.
Wait, yeah, but she didn't write her song in the Au Jardim.
That is
She
true.
wasn't invited in the first place. The only people who have come back are ones who are either interpreting for someone else or who have interpreted for someone else.
Hmm.
So for all these really popular people, that's kind of their one chance gone. And I don't know if like a few years down the line they'll run out of people and start reusing them. But there
Maybe.
are people we would loads of people in so many years that we would like to see back. I feel, come on, just like one or two won't hurt. You don't have to become Sweden, but the
No.
people want Capital to go to Bulgaria every year.
I know someone who would love that every year.
Listen,
Yeah. Well, that is what we think about Festival da Canção this year. Tell us, what do you think about the selection? You know, do you agree with Napa's win? Did you want someone else to win? I mean, what were your impressions over everything? Please do let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you very much to Daniel for joining us here. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. But yes, please do continue to follow us on all of our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Tumblr, all at that Euro site. Check out that EurovisionSite.com as well for all of the news that's been going on. We're obviously heading into pre-party season, so be prepared for a whole host of different news things and interviews. We're going to be absolutely chock-a-block with that there. Also, check out the audio as well for this chat, as well as so many others as well over at the podcast as well, which is at that Euro podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also check it out wherever you get your relevant Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. Please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. It just helps us out a little bit more. It's really, really appreciated. And yeah, we will see you in the next one. See you later.
goodbye.